What is going on, YouTube? It is me, your boy, Flash Jones, back with yet again another video. And today, or at least today's update, is just going to be product information and a layout update, just as the layout as a whole. Just some information. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right. With that being said, let's jump right on into it. Alright, so like I said, this will be kind of a layout update, but not because I've done any work. Actually, we'll go over what I did, but primarily just product information and just some stuff I want to talk about because I'll be doing another video pretty soon, and I'll be covering a lot more information. So I want to do this part separate from the other videos. So, as you guys can kind of hear and see in the opening shot, I got two of my favorite locomotives sitting on the track. They're running a little bit, just getting some noise going. I'm getting to that part, or at least to that stage where we're real close to running trains, but we're not going to rush it. We're not going to temporarily lay in track. We're just going to do it as we can, the right way, at least for me. So, you know, while we got the trains running, sitting here, right now we got the beautiful Katie on command. Say hello, Katie. Nice to see you doing all right today, Katie. Nice to see you doing all right. Is your headlight on? Let's turn it off. You don't need that right now. Beach lights on? Oh, that was one of those. Okay. And then we got the BNSF 9335. Say hello. Nope. Say hello, Mr. BNSF 9335. Oh, that would make sense. Wrong welcome. Let's try it again. Mr. BNSF 9335, say hello. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. So, I got these two locomotives out just on the track, just setting them up, just put them on the climb. I like looking at them. They look nice, sit during the climb. You know, once everything gets scenic and detailed up, then everything will look much better, obviously. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the layout. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back, alright? Alright, so turned off the layout. No need to be sucking up electricity. Yeah. Plus, I want to make sure you guys hear me. So, one thing that I want to talk about. First, I got a few notes that I got here. I don't remember if I told you guys before, or if I even added the photos of it. But I recently got the power cab and the SP5 version 1.65B. If you guys have a power cab system or smart booster system, you know that if you want to have multiple AIUs or have multiple cabs, I believe, and have more recalls, you need the 1.65B version because there's a problem with the chips. And I don't know all the details. I don't remember them. At least I remember them when I did them about a month ago, but I never mentioned it. So just I'll add those photos in. If I remember to at the end of the video. Another thing is, obviously you guys have seen the layout in other videos that I've had of just what the layout looks like. I'll just kind of go around the room. And then I'll go down. And what I'm talking about is this reddish brownish paint. And the reason why I painted was because I'm kind of going for a desert-esque kind of scene for the most of the layout. Not to say that it will be just in the middle of the desert where there's nothing around, there's no no sort of life around. No, that's not the case. It's just I'm going the desert type of scenery because if if in the end I decide not to go with a bunch of scenery, it's the desert. There's not much scenery in the desert, you know, other than the sand, cactus, you know, some tumbleweed rolling around every now and then, you know, around the roads and whatnot. But there's not much scenery out there, so I have the option to either go with a lot of scenery and kind of show what it looks like because I've been out on the rails where there is some scenery, and I've been out there where it's nothing but desert. Where you see on where if you Google a desert, it looks just like a desert where there's nothing around but cactus and mountain. So that's the main reason why I painted this all the foam, the road bed. That's the main reason why that is painted the color that it is. The color is called red curry, I believe. Yes, color is called red curry. What this product is Behr Paint Premium Plus Interior Flat. Number one reason why I got this paint is because this can was dented. Coming from the shop or whoever Home Depot gets their paint from, I think directly from Behr. However they got it, it came dented, so they can't sell these kinds of paint or these cans of paint for retail price because it's dented, and we can't. They can't put these in the shaker. If they do, the paint will push up against the lid, and since this is kind of a weak spot, since it's dented, it'll push open and it'll burst open in the shaker. So I think the retail price on Premium Plus Interior Flat is right around like $23 or so. I was able to get it for like 10 just because the can was dented. So, and then they got a ton of oops paint, which paint like they mess up through the course of the day or whatever. They got a lot of oops paint that they got on sale too. I didn't need any, and they didn't have the color which I wanted, which was this color. So I found a color chip. This can was dented, so I got it for pretty much half price. But that's the reason why the pretty much everything is painted this reddish brownish color. Obviously I'll have a top layer of sand which won't be as dark at all, but I mean I kind of look at it like back in Chicago, the mud on the top or the dirt was always like a light brown, and whenever you kind of dug down it got dark brown, or if it ever got wet it was dark brown. So I mean that's just my interpretation of it. I mean nothing in life is perfect, nothing in the world as far as scenery is perfect. So that's why everything is painted. I have laid the final piece of Benchwork. Now, obviously, I did this a long time ago because I laid that last piece of Benchwork in a long time ago, which was this final piece here. It's the cross part. It's the cross piece. It's 6 feet long. It comes out 2 feet wide. So coming out from the window, where's my little meter stick at? All right, so let's get back here. So it's 6 feet long from here to here, and it's 2 feet wide. So from back here to here is 2 feet wide, and so it's a 6x2, and it's just the part that connects this side, this 8 feet long section over here to the other 8 foot long section on the other side of the wall. So it's just a cross piece that connects them. I planned on having this removable, but I may not have to. And the reason I thought I was gonna have this, oh, I'm not even looking. Sorry. The reason I was gonna have this removable was because I didn't think that I was gonna be able to get up here to be able to lay my track. And obviously, since you see the track and whatnot is there, and I'll show you it's glued. I can't move it. So it's glued down. All this is up here is glued down and whatnot. Obviously I was able to get up here and lay the track, but I thought that I wasn't going to be able to. So that was why I initially had thought that I was going to have it removable so that I would be able to get in there and do any track work, bench work, or you know, any wiring that I needed to do. But obviously I was able to do it, so it doesn't really matter. But this was so to say the final piece. I can't remember if this was the final piece or if this one down here was the final piece. And this one I really want to have removable. I really want to have it removable. But I've learned I've said it to myself a million times, but sometimes we don't follow our own advice. And I think I've said it a few times on a video, and once again I'm not even looking on the phone. But I'll say what I said. I'll try to edit that part out. But I don't follow my advice sometimes. And one of my parts of advice was try not to force anything with your track because you might put yourself into a bind or a situation that you don't want to have. And the situation is that this track, this yard lead track here, is kind of hanging over air. And obviously I'm going to show you my mistakes. I'm not a god. I'm not perfect. Like I said, this is my very first layout. It's a pretty big one, but it's my first one. And I think so far I'm doing pretty well, but we're all going to mess up sometimes. But this track, like I said, is hanging over air. It's connected to these two pieces here and to the foam here, but it's for right here, it's hanging over air. I mean, it's not an issue as far as trains. It's not going to cause any issues, at least not right now. But the problem becomes, since this is curved, it's going to be very hard for me if I wanted to cut this here. I'll get close. If I wanted to cut this track here and cut it here so that I could have this removable. I mean, it would be real easy for me to cut the two mainline tracks back here. And the same thing on this side, since I made sure I got the switch further back enough. But I could easily cut all this here. The issue becomes this track here. And since it's kind of hanging over air. And plus now, since this switch is on the main line, I'm going to have a tortoise switch machine for that switch. I don't want to have to, if I do decide to have it removable, I'd have to be extra careful because all the wiring that would be running, that's running under the layout, that runs from under here, that's connected and goes back under down here, I'd have to give my own rig. I'll probably use those spade connectors that I had and try to figure out how I wanted to do it. But then in the end, I mean, pretty much every time I want to come into the train room, I got to disconnect them or connect them back up, relay it in, make sure that it's straight. And it's a headache. It's going to be a headache to duck under it every single time as well. But I figure I'd rather duck under it than connect a whole bunch of wires and make sure I got them all 100% right. Because if not, shorts, tortoises might get blown. DCC Dakotas might get blown, you know, and I got a bunch of stuff that I just ordered, and I'll talk about that too, that could get messed up, and it was already expensive trying to get it. So I think I'm just going to leave it and deal with having a duck under it every single time, but it's no biggie to me. As far as I know, there's not many people out here where I live at that are model railroaders. So, but that's that. The next thing is, okay, you guys can't really see this, and I haven't really showed it to you, but I'll show it to you now, and I'll talk about these lights that I got in here in a minute. All right. So what I'm trying to show you now is the fact that if we're looking at this level up here, where my thumb is. So we're looking at this level up here. This is kind of awkward. Let me try to get a better angle. So we're down at, so to say, at eye level with the bottom level. Looking up, you guys see that the bottom of the wood is white. Okay? It's the same thing all the way around for every single piece. And the reason why, okay, and I forgot to tell you guys this before, and the reason why I did it, but I remember it now, and or I remember to mention it now. The reason why I have painted these boards white, you can kind of see a little bit better there without those lights, those LED lights. But the reason why I painted these boards white is because obviously I had this. I'm not, like I told you guys before, I'm not doing traditional layout bench work. So the fact that my only support is at the very back, you guys can look at the rule and see how far back it is. Since my only support is at the very back of it, which is 2 feet away, and there's really no support here at the front end. I mean, obviously I have these little sticks, these little paint sticks here holding up the fronts. But if I had not primed this entire board, I mean, obviously the bottom side's white, but before I put the foam down on top, I painted both sides of them, and they're completely primed. I used a pretty good primer, it's about 20 bucks, This primer was also Oops Paint, so I was able to get it for like, I think that goes for 20. I got it for like right around 10 or 11 as well, but it was Oops. I think it had like a little bit of black in it, but it was like a Swiss coffee. It was still a popular color. Nevertheless, I painted it, or primed it, I should say, and the reason why is because had I did not prime it, this all the section wood that's on the second level will be subjected to warping, and a lot of it. Yes, this is in my second bedroom where it is sealed and it is regulated for temperature and humidity, but still, I mean, my little scrap pieces of wood that I use to weigh stuff down, these pieces here, they warp, and some of them warped a lot. Oh, is my battery going dead? Yeah, I got 5% battery. Okay, so, but like I was saying, it would be subjected to a lot of warping. So before I did anything, as soon as I bought the wood, as soon as I got home, I primed the living hell out of these pieces of wood. And when I say primed the living hell, I mean I painted them like 2.5, 3 coats, just to make sure that I had a nice barrier between the wood and the air and the humidity, and to make sure that enough of the primer penetrated it and sealed it so that it had no chance to warp. The only way these pieces of wood are going to warp now is if I have something severely heavy hanging in the middle of it. That'll probably be the only way that it warps now. But this is HO scale, not G scale, not the scale that you can write on. I don't even know what scale that is. But it's not nothing where it's going to do any terrible damage and cause it to warp. At least I don't think so. For now, I gotta pause this video and charge my phone up, because if not, this video will probably be lost. And we'll just continue where when the phone charges up, man. All right, so guys, I got the phone charged up. I continue on with this video now. Next one I'm going to talk about is the way that I'm going to be, at least for right now, the way I'm going to be having the system turned on and off. When I get to that point where I could just flip everything on and off with little toggles and everything, the main switch will be for this power strip. Right off here, just the little toggle switch, just to turn this entire strip off, anything that's connected to it, obviously. But that'll be it. And why am I using a power strip? Pretty much, you should always use a power strip and not an extension cord for anything that you care about. Pretty much, if you're gonna turn your TV on and run all of your electronics, you know, in that area, you really want to use a power strip, not just an extension cord, because if something happens, you know, a serious thunderstorm rolls through and, you know, your house gets struck by lightning, anything and everything connected to an outlet will be fried. And obviously a power strip is will protect most of your devices. And for the one that I got, in the case that something happens, that's my coverage, $50,000. So as you can see down here, that's the SB5 and DB5. Right now they're unplugged because I need the power strip for lighting and whatnot. But when the time comes to have everything up and operational, I can just come in and flip the layout on just by the turn of a little button. It'll be off the power strip, surge protector. And in the case if we have a bad lightning storm here and this my apartment gets struck by lightning, that'll pretty much act like a giant fuse and it'll just blow. At least it should. And if it doesn't blow, once again, that's how much they will protect me up to. So if I had I don't know, anything that's electrified that's worth $50,000, but say you had some sort of, I was gonna say an electric car, but I highly doubt your electric car is being plugged up through a surge protector. They got like a 3-prong system, but nevertheless, you get the point. whatever you're plugging up, you want to plug it up through a surge protector, not an extension cord, because whatever you're plugging up through that extension cord runs directly to an outlet, and that outlet taps right into the whatever section of the house is in, and that's just connected to a fuse box. And if the fuse box doesn't do its thing, everything in your house is fried. Most likely everything's already going to be fried. But hey, I'm paranoid as hell, so I got me a good surge protector. It only costs $10, and that was the price for it. So you get $50,000 worth of protection, and I think on the back here somewhere, I think it said it would cover up to a couple years. Oh, a couple up to 3 years. And I purchased it this year in 2016. So 3 years from now, in 2019, January 2019, is when I would no longer have that protection. But in 3 years, there'll probably be much more technology out. I may even have a whole new system, like a Powerhouse Pro, since I'll be moving to a house with a bigger layout. So, but that's in the future, like I said. But you want to have a surge protector to protect all of your electronics. I have at least 3 of them in my house. One for the layout, one for the living room, one for my room, to protect everything. Like I said, I'm pretty paranoid, but then again, my stuff ain't gonna get fried. Next, we're gonna talk about the caulk that I've been using. When I laid the track and the roadbed, I use both the liquid nails for interior projects, construction adhesive, and I use the Loctite Power Grab. The reason why I'm using both of these, since the liquid nails decided to fall over, but since the liquid nails, at least this new formula that they have, you'll know if you have the new formula by this little sign on the front. Pretty much all this is it's the formula is now air certification qualified. Pretty much they wanted to use this in schools and whatnot to do stuff, so it had to be able to be breathable. The one that I had, or at least back in late December, before they switched the formula over, if you were caulking a lot, like when I was caulking the bottom level here, when I was doing this side over here, when I was doing that entire side over there, I had the old formula, and oh my God, it had a nice strong scent to it. And it makes you kind of nauseous after a little while. Or it makes you just want to leave the room and get some fresh air. But this one here, I pretty much, when I started using this one, I was able to caulk until I was done caulking and doing whatever I needed to do with it without any issues. But like I said, the reason that I'm using this is for all of the sections that are straight, okay, up top as well, all of the sections that are straight, I got a phone call, you guys. I'll pick up where I left off. Hold on. All right, so sorry about that. I had a phone call, but like I was saying, for all the sections that are straight, okay, up top, everywhere around the layout, I'm using the liquid nails for the track, and for all of the curved sections, I'm using the Power Grab. Now, why is that? Because this liquid nails, at least the new formula, is a lot thinner. Well, I won't say a lot thinner. It's much more liquidy. It's still pretty solid when you squirt it out of the tube. But as far as viscosity compared to the old formula, this one is not as thick. It's more liquidy. And if you use a lot, especially if you use a lot, but even if you use a little bit, if you were trying to use this on your curves, you automatically have to pin it into place, because the tension in the track, at least with the flex track that I'm using, since it wants to always be straight, you will have to pin your track down, because the tension in the track will just spring right out of place with the liquid nails. Now, the Power Grab is called Power Grab for a reason, okay? What does that say right there on the front? 0-second instant grab, okay? And literally, that's exactly what it means. That's why I'm using it on my curves. I will lay it out. I'm actually, instead of using the spackling knife, I just put some rubber gloves on, and I would apply it on the roadbed, and I would just smooth it out real thin so that it didn't ooze up in between the ties and whatnot. And I could actually show you some of that here. You see, it's real thin. Do I have the little pointer around here somewhere? Nope. I'll use this as instead. But as you see right here, that's some of the power grab that's left over, and it's not thick. It's real thin. You can barely even really feel it. Now when I first had started doing the caulking and whatnot, like down in here, you can obviously see a lot more of the caulking. Okay, that was my first attempt at it, and it was okay. But like I said, instead of using a spackling knife, I just put some rubber gloves on and smoothed it out. Just smoothed it out and made sure it was real thin, a nice, not even a bead, because if you leave a bead, it'll ooze up in between the tires. And you don't want it to ooze up. You want it just to be enough for the tires to grab onto and stick to. And the power grab is perfect. Like, I didn't have to pin the track down, but I did, just for my sanity. Once again, I'm paranoid. I'd rather it be done the first time, not have to be redone. So that's how I did that. That's why I'm using the caulk. There are some folks who don't use liquid nails for their track. I don't know why. I would love to know, but that's just what they do. That's what I do as well. And then I touched on this before, but I will touch on it again. Last time I touched on this, it was very brief. It was real quick. But it's kind of about track, but what it is the type of switches that I'm using. These switches here. And what it is, that's the Walthers switches. Now, they are a little bit more expensive if you want to use these switches. But the one thing that I like about them is that it has jumpers that are feeding it. And, I'm going to pause the video for 1 second. I'm looking for a little tool so that I can use to point out some stuff. Give me 1 second. All right, hold on. All right, I found it. It was hiding from me. So, like I said, the reason why I'm using these switches is because, number one, the jumpers on the back, but these switches are free, they're free. There is no spring in between them, so they just turn pointed to me. So you're gonna have to have a either a tortoise switch machine hooked up to it, or some sort of machine, or a ground throw. And I actually just ordered some, and we'll take a look at those. But and into more of the detail that I was talking about, the jumpers here, get close up on it. The jumpers here is now, if you can kind of follow the rail, I'll kind of back off of it. This is one of the point rails that are coming off the switch to throw. Now, if this was straight, or aligned for straight track, this is this row here. I'm sorry, I gotta get the camera to follow me. This track here, or this rail, I should say, comes straight through. This is one of the I can't even think of the proper names, but for lack of term and better word, this rail, okay, is being powered from this rail. How so? By this jumper right here. Okay. And same thing with this rail here. This rail here is being powered by this rail. How is it being powered? By this jumper. And how is this rail being powered? Because if you solder your connections or your rails with the pieces of track that are on your layout, or with the main line, or however you're going to do it, since this, say this is positive, negative, positive, negative, this positive runs down this rail, comes to the jumper, feeds this rail. Okay? Same thing with this one. And if you can kind of see up here, just to keep, it's called the Shinora. I barely even saw it. There's some branding right there on the top of it. Maybe you can kind of catch the lettering on there, but it's Shinora or something like that. But this track here, this rail, feeds power to this rail. Okay? And same thing here. This rail feeds power to this rail. Okay? Now, like I said, this is the reason why I like these switches. Walthers, with this brand of track, they have double gapped these two rails from the frog. Okay? The frog is 100% completely isolated. How do I know that? As you just saw previously, I had a set of crossovers on the layout. I had the BNSF ST70 ACE and then UP ST70 ACE, they were running. Had I had a short on the layout, those locomotives would have cut off. And here's a perfect storm, so to say, for a short. Except Walthers has the gaps cut and they put some plastic in it to space it so that no electricity arcs over. So the frog is 100% completely isolated. Okay. If you have locomotives with short wheelbases, for this number 4 left hand, you may not have to. You may have to. I mean, I don't really plan on ever running locomotives with short wheelbases, but if I do, then we'll cross that bridge when it comes. They also have a spot right here. And get right on top of it. If you want to power your frog, you can solder connection there. You can solder connection there. And that's pretty much it for you to solder connection to. There's your point to solder connection to if you want to power your frog though. And where is this one at on the other side? It's right under here. This is all together on the bottom side. This is all one piece on the bottom. So the tab to solder is pretty much right under here. Or you can just solder to the inside of this rail, since no wheel flanges will ever be on this side. Or will they? No, wheel flanges will be here. Yep. So you could solder right here on the side if you really wanted to, or you could do it on the bottom, how they have it set up. But just to recap, because I kind of was mumbling a little bit and didn't make a lot of sense. This rail powers this rail, okay? This rail powers this rail, and same thing on the back side. This rail powers this rail. Sorry about that. This rail here powers this rail. This rail powers this rail. Just to show you one more time. This rail here powers this rail. This rail powers this rail. Left, right, left, right. This rail powers this rail. This rail powers this rail. So that's why I like these switches. I just got a few left over for what I'm doing. But hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, let me know. I'll try to be more clear in the future if I ever give any more information on these switches. But that's why I like these switches, is because these it's fully powered. It's DCC friendly. The switch itself is fully powered except for the frog. So you have the ISO frog switch, and the switch itself, as long as you have the rails soldered at either point, either up here, down here, or these two rails. As long as one of these tracks is soldered to another section of the track, then the entire switch will be electrified except for the frog. Okay? Like I said, this right here, left, right, left, right, this rail powers this rail. This rail powers this rail. And the frog is isolated, so I don't have to worry about shorts. So that's why I like these switches. As far as for what I want to do, it's a little easier for me. And pretty much, yeah. All right. So next, that's right. So within the next few days here, I will be getting the rest of the switches that I need for the upper level crossovers, which will be right in this area. That's why there's no track there. That's why I can't really run trains, at least around a loop. But I will have tortoise switch machines, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one back there. So a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tortoises in just this area. This is the yard lead for, you can say, the south end. This is the yard lead for say the north end, and then, you know, the crossovers. So crossover from main 2 to main 1, main 1 to main 2. And so yeah, that's I'm gonna have tortoises in that area, and I'm gonna have tortoises up here for the mainline crossovers up here as well. And then one more area, and it's pretty much the same thing on the other side. It's pretty much identical to the bottom level as well. This track here, or this switch I should say, is the yard lead for the intermodal facility. And I want to touch on this real quick. I know usually you don't want to have 2 yards on your layout, but I guess I'm not real big into scenery. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of industries because the whole top level is kind of like the industry level where all the work is being done. The bottom level is kind of the is going to be the town area and whatnot. But I figured I was gonna have the intermodal facility set up to where you have to switch out the track so that they as the train comes in with inbound loads, they're put onto other trains or they're getting offloaded onto trucks or whatnot. I figured I'd do it that way so that it's not just a whole bunch of industries up here, that it's actually another main yard, so to say, and an area to do a lot of work, because you gotta switch out the containers on the cars, put them on the trucks or put them onto other trains, move the loads out, bring it empty in, a whole empty train in, so that containers could then be put on the empty train. So I figured in the end it would be kind of cool because I would have a lot of work to be done. And then last but not least, signals. Okay, so what I plan on doing, at least going, say if this was going north, going this way, so looking that way, right above this area will be a 3-track signal bridge. Obviously 2 for the main lines, and there'll be 1 for the yard lead, for the south end yard lead, right up in here. So I would have a 3-track signal bridge here that will control going into the yard, and control the crossovers. And looking south, there'll be a 3-track signal bridge right over here, controlling, I say coming into the yard, but I meant there'll be a 3-track signal bridge, obviously for the main lines here, and for authority onto the main from the yard, and the same thing for the south end down there. So that's the plan for signals. I got some on order, and I'll just pretty much mention where all the signals are going to be. There's going to be a signal pretty much right down in here somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put it at, but there'll be a signal right down in here to give permission to the trains that are coming off the climb, to give them permission onto the main. I got to figure out a nice name for the climb, because I'm not just going to call it the climb. Obviously, the dispatcher's not going to say, hey, yeah, go ahead and take the climb up to St. Petersburg. No, that's not going to be the name of my town. But as an example, I mean, I don't know, like the Dairy Queen connector, you know, something like that. But, you know, that I'm going to give it a name. But that'll be a separate track. It won't be considered a main line. It'll be something connector. So there'll be a signal there to give you authority onto the main. And then right above the crossovers here, right up here on the second level, where I have the separation, the double gaps for block occupancy, I will have the bidirectional signals here and here, and obviously bidirectional in each direction to control movement on the main line. And then, since this is going to be where all this stuff is here, this is going to be where the intermodal facility will be. There will be a switch, or I'm sorry, a switch. There'll be one signal facing this way. So there'll be a signal right around here facing this way. So pretty much looking right at the camera to give you authority onto the main, obviously. And then there will be, I will have the BMA cantilever signals, the cantilever signal bridges, controlling the main lines. And then from there, you have authority. If you're on main 1, you have the authority into the yards based on your signal indication. And I mean, I got a lot of information on how I'm going to as far as rules for the layout. It's going to be probably very interesting. I haven't seen any other miler do what I plan on doing, but it's going to be fun. But I mean, we're still in the beginning stages. I can't wait to look back on this a couple months from now and say, damn, we've gone a long way. And then there'll be the same thing on the other side with the bi-directional signals as intermediates for the controlling on the main. And then the last part, I thought the signals would have been last, but I got some signals on the way. Like I just said, I have the hardware to run the signals, the hardware for block occupancy, and the hardware to run the tortoises. All of that should be here either this week or on Monday. What was I gonna say? The signal should be here next week as well. And then the last thing I just want to show you guys is this LED. I showed you guys this in the opening shot, but this box here, I bought this from the Home Depot, and I was wondering to myself, why in the hell did I just spend $60 on a strip of LEDs? And when I first saw this thing, it kind of sucked me in real quick, because the way they had it displayed, it was kind of cool, to be honest. And I kind of wanted one as soon as I saw it, but like I said, it was $60. I wasn't just going to drop $60, you know, on some freaking LEDs. But I'm gonna cut the lights off in this room, and I'm going to show you why I purchased this set of lights. Now, as you guys can see, that is the lamp that I just cut off. The lights on the bottom of the level, it's completely dark in here. I'm gonna turn them off so you can see how dark it is in here. Okay. These lights here, those are the lights off the power strip. Okay. It is 100% dark in here. Okay. I'm gonna cut it back on. Boom. Okay. That's how bright they are. And I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna show you pretty much why I got them. Number one, for when I wanted to get into nighttime operation, I can dim them out a little bit. That's as dim as they go. It's not too dark. It's not as dark as I wanted it to be, but it's pretty dim. And obviously, I'm not gonna leave it hanging how it is. I'm gonna put it up. I got to get another one for this side, but just kind of showing you what it looks like and how cool it is, and the reasons why I got it. So I'm gonna put it back up to maximum brightness. There we go. And then gonna just run through a few things that I thought was pretty interesting. I'm just gonna look down in here. Yeah, how you like that? So, along with having just white LEDs on there, it has all these other colors. So that's like a yellowish green, purple, like a light blue. That's like a orangey yellow. I don't know how well it's gonna pick up on the camera, but it's like an orangey yellow. That's all of the lights turned on, or all of the LEDs. So that's the white, the blue, the green, the yellow. Yeah, all of them are turned on. So it's a rainbow, which looks like white. So all the colors together look like white. Obviously, if you know your science, your physics. Yeah, there's your red. I don't think I said red, but red as well. And then we're back to green. So all the colors. And it's pretty cool. It does a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't want to run through everything of what it's going to do. It does a lot. So I have to really stand back in the back of the room and let you guys kind of just watch it. Because the effects that it has, maybe I can stand back far enough and let you guys just kind of watch and admire this. Because I'll tell you what, man. $60 is still too damn high, but it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I don't think I'll be using all of these colors while I'm running trains, but it'd be some nice effects, you know, nighttime running, red light, you know. I don't know how it'll end up being, how I'll do it all, but I mean, it looks pretty cool with what it's doing and whatnot. Here's another thing that it does. And it does all the colors. You just gotta change them to the color. It does this here. Nah, that one there. go to red. Alright, wait for it. Pretty much turning itself on and off, it does that. Then it does this thing here. Now you just follow it around, and then it kind of goes through. I mean, they kind of made these things to be outdoors, so you run them around your like your deck or your outside of your house or some sort, or you know, just to light up the outside of your house. It's an indoor-outdoor product, which means it's okay for water and whatnot. But I thought it was pretty cool. So then it's got a rainbow effect kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. And then we'll go back to white. And that's white there. And once again, you just see how bright it is. And like I said, I'll turn them off and I'll turn them back on so you can see how dark it gets in this room. That's pitch black to instant light. And it costs $60. But yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was just that pretty much a product information, layout update. But just layout update is as all the stuff that I have forgotten to say, all the stuff that I wanted to fill you guys in on, and some of my mistakes that I've made. Obviously, the layout is not as messy as it has been. I've cleaned it up a lot more than what it used to be. So it's starting to come together. And then lastly, this is actually the very end. Lastly, but not least, I want to give a special thank you and a special shout out to every single one of my subscribers and every single one of my followers on Instagram. You guys keep me going. It's fun to be able to share this type of stuff with you guys. I mean, like I said, where I am now, there's not many people out here who are model railroaders. I mean, when I moved back to Chicago, I already got there's a club out there who's been waiting for me to come back and whatnot. But there's not many people out here where I am now. So it feels good to be able to share something like this with other people, share my ideas, share my thoughts, share my successes, share my failures, and just to have fun, you know, run some trains, to be able to enjoy and share a hobby that we all enjoy together. And like I said, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times. If you guys are building your own layout, make it your own layout. It's your layout. Why? I mean, why do you think I just spent $60 on a LED strip that does red, green, blue, yellow, white, you know, orangish yellow, orangish green, you know, random colors? Because I like it, and I think it'll be cool. Like I said, you guys have fun. That's what this is about. This is not about who has the most magnificent looking layout, who has the biggest roster of locomotives. That's not what this is about. This is about having fun. I can't wait till the day comes where I have my own son and maybe my daughter, and hopefully I can get them into this. But this is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys picked up a few tricks, a few ideas, something that, you know, you guys can benefit from. Use it on your layout or use it at the club in which you work at, and be able to put this information to use. The last thing I want to mention, because I forgot to mention that, it is if you're going to run tortoise switch machines under your switches, you probably won't be able to see it, but I pre-drilled the holes under the switches to feed that piano wire through there, so there's no issues. But that goes along with your planning. If you know you're gonna use some sort of switch machine where you're gonna have to run it under your layout, if you plan it out, you'll be able to remember those things so that you don't have to be forced to run it off the side of your switch, and hopefully you'll be able to. But like I said, hopefully you guys take this information and use it with you guys' videos, use it however you need to. But like I said, thank you to all my subscribers. I think I just hit 25. I think I'm at 30 now, but thank you to you guys for subscribing. Thank you to all of my followers that are following me on Instagram. I appreciate it. You guys that are commenting, keep those comments coming. I love to see what you guys are thinking, to see what you guys think that I should do, and just ideas just in general. I mean, like I said, I love being able to talk to people about trains. Every time someone's mentioned the word train to me, my eyes light up like, you know, like stars in the midnight sky. So this is the end of this video. Thank you to my subscribers. You guys have a nice night. Have a nice day. Be safe. Run trains. This is your boy, Flash Jones. I am out. Deuces.